Welcome to Tarot Tuesday. Today is March 18th. This reading is intended for the 19th through the 25th. Today, we are using a new deck I just got. It is the Beetlejuice deck. Of course, to use it, we have to say 3 times, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. We'll shuffle it up real quick here. I've already looked through this deck a little bit, looked at some of the illustrations that it has, that it portrays for different cards. Fun, unusual, like always, Beetlejuice, right? Shuffle more here. And then we'll get our typical 5 cards to kind of flush out the week for us, give us an idea of what we have going forward this week. Good, bad, and ugly. We cut. Down a little bit. So let's see what Beetlejuice has in store to tell us for this week. We start off with the 5 of Pentacles. Now, what is the 5 of Pentacles telling us? It's telling us that, I think I've told you guys before, Pentacles to me usually means wealth, money, but not just money. Wealth in love, in home, in happiness. And here, what this portrays to me is it tells me, here lies Beetlejuice. And it points down into his lair, into his home. Folks, this week, we need to focus on where is the wealth at home? Why are we chasing it outside our doors, right? Because a lot of the times we're looking for the happiness, we're looking for the good stuff, for the stuff that really keeps us going, that wealth. We're looking for it everywhere and anywhere, but the place that we've built it to be the strongest, the safest, to hold all of it, right? So this reminds us this week. Reflect. Look into the house, the home that you've built, the vessel you are working with. Where is the happiness there? Where is the wealth there? Because when you find that, you'll find wealth everywhere else too. You'll find happiness everywhere. 3 of Swords. Now, the 3 of Swords is telling us here we have Lydia very upset after, well, I mean, she was always mourning, right? So she's here and she's mourning, and the 3 of Swords reminds us that sometimes that reflection, that looking into things, what makes us happy, what keeps us going, sometimes we have to find those sad and those sore spots, right? Because sometimes it's going through these emotions, it's going through grief, it's going through pain, it's going through fun and exciting as well, but all of that helps build our arsenal. All of that helps build our inner being, doesn't it? So the 3 of Swords reminds us that sometimes, even if it's the tough stuff, we need to look at that too, because that is what's helped to make us as strong and as powerful as we are today. Now the Page of Pentacles reminds us here that, you know, we always think we're interesting, but we're not always the most interesting in the room, right? And that's something we need to remind ourselves of. Everybody has their quirks, their problems, their goods and their bads, right? The Page of Pentacles reminds us that as weird as what we have going on may be here, we still have value. It's just a matter of finding the people who agree with our awkwardness, so to speak, right? Oh, the 8 of Wands. We've come for your daughter, Chuck. I always loved that scene. I always thought that was hysterical. And what this reminds us of here is wands are usually more of the spiritual journey, right? So as we're going through, sometimes we're going to have to face some things that really test our faith, aren't we? We have to really face those demons head on sometimes, don't we? And that's what this is reminding us of. The Eight of Wands is telling us here in this case, saying, hey, look, sometimes, and it looks like this week, we're going to have some things that are going to happen that are going to flip our world upside down for a minute, right? And we're going to have to look some of those demons face to face. And we're going to have to look at them and we're going to have to say, okay, am I going to fall to you? Or am I going to have the faith to look at you and say, no, I'm not that. I'm not there. I'm not being like that. I don't want to be like that. And I'm not going there. I have my faith that I'm going to stand back on. That's what this reminds us of going forward this week. And to round out, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Now, I do recall in the movie, she had her opinions, and she had the things she wanted her way, right? And her husband basically was good at being a lapdog for the things that he thought she wanted. Sometimes it's good to be the queen. However, as we're going this week and working on the different things we need to work on, finding our home in our house and our happiness in our home, you know, finding the awkward, weird ones that fit our tribe, right? Well, facing those inner griefs and reflecting on them to stay strong and reflecting on our faith to stay strong. We don't want to become this at the end of the day, though, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, it was kind of one of those situations to where we get so comfortable after we build these things and work on these things that we kind of get cocky about it, don't we? And that's not where we want to be. That's not what we want to be. So, always find the mellower side of her. The side that had the curiosity. The side that was looking to invest, to find what's outside of what can be seen in her, right? And that was the whole thing. Make sure that you always, look, no matter how much you work on these things, no matter how much you build this week, don't get over ahead of yourself. The queen is quite the position to be in. And from a deck that we'll have soon, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So for that, we can use this queen position. We can use this position of wealth and knowledge. And we can share that on how we can help others guide through their path, can't we? Because they'll look up to us for what we've gained, what we've endured, and what we've gone through. And they'll look up to us for that. Let's just remember this week to show them the reflection of you that also went through the struggle, that also had the hard times and had to build themselves to this. Sometimes we see people that we look up to and we instantly think, hey, look, you know, we meet them in such a time and position, or the way that they are in our lives, relatives, whatnot, that we have them in such a time and position where they've already become the superstar of their story. So we meet them at their peak. And sometimes we forget how much of a struggle it took them to get there. So as we go forward this week, you know, we've got a lot to work on, don't we always, though? That's part of this human game that we're playing. Find happiness within. Find happiness in your home. You've built it there. That's where it needs to be. If you can't find it there, you're not finding it anywhere else. And those hard spots, those hard things, that grief, that pain, that's what builds us to be stronger or breaks us. It's your choice. Like Lydia, let's build it to be stronger. Let's find our tribe. Find those that they don't have to agree with us, but we shouldn't have to defend everything we do and everything we say, right? It's good to have those friends that you say, I've got an idea, and they say, how weird can it get? Right? We're going to have to face some things. We're going to have a little bit of faith that we're going to have to look back on. Whatever faith it is that you have, you're going to have to look in and face some of those inner demons as you go through this week. Some of those hiccups and problems. We're going to have to look, where do those stem from, and how can we cut that out? How can we face that head on and solve this issue? And really, at the end of the day, it's more important to let others know the struggle's real. We've been there. We've all been there. Anything you can think of, somebody knows somebody who's gone through. What have you done since then? What did you do with that? Did you take that? Did you build? Did you make yourself and those around you better because of that? Those who look up to you for being the queen, are you taking that as a serious responsibility to guide them the right way? That's what we need to focus on this week. That's what Beetlejuice has come forward to tell us. And it's really funny. He tells us about his home himself. He tells us about the inner demons we may have to face this week and that we have to face in our lives. But this week, that's all he himself had to really step forward and say. Well, until then, let's return Beetlejuice back to his home. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And until next time, folks.